everyone, this is Dawn, and we are on to part 10 of our retreat. And so, in the more recent weeks, we've had the benefits of being able to reflect on what it means to be loved sinners and the transforming power of that love. So, this coming week, we're going to use that and build on it and start reflecting on love's invitation. What is the Lord inviting us to? And so, once again, I have a nice little handout here, but in it is a message or an invitation from God to start thinking about a bigger invitation. And so, I think we did this last time, but once again, I'll read this to you now, and although it's coming out in my voice, use it as a prayer and to hear what God might be asking of you. And so if you'd like, you're welcome to close your eyes and to quiet your mind and your heart. And imagine this following invitation coming from Jesus. Over the past several weeks, it has been the delight I've longed for to show you how much I love you, how I have wanted you to know how much I desire to free your heart. And now that you have asked me what you can do, what return you could make for such love, I feel eager to invite you to be with me. Please be with me in the mission I have from my Father, because God has chosen me to tell the good news to the poor, to announce freedom for prisoners, to give sight to the blind, to free everyone who suffers. And I need you. I need your support and your free heart. It won't always be easy, but we will be together every time you are with me in loving. If you are with me in the struggle of love, we will grow together in love in ways I can ask you only to imagine. If you are with me in the dying to self-love, that is our mission. Then you will be with me in the fullness of life forever. God's reign is at hand. Together we can bring it closer. Please be with me. And so as you reflect on that invitation this week, if you let it run in the back of your head, you might begin to be quiet enough to hear what God is inviting to you in this next portion of your life. If we're honest with ourselves, in thinking back over our past, we might have heard God calling us to something, but we made excuses about being too busy or that it just wasn't the right time. But now that we've been on this journey of a retreat, we have come to better appreciate the depth of God's love for us. And our hearts are yearning to respond to that love. So this week, as you reflect on that, don't jump into a response. Take this week instead to just really be listening for God's invitation. And as you listen, allow yourselves to be touched by that invitation. I am sometimes quick to jump into things. So in my early 20s, I worked for a business and I did very well, but I was completely miserable. And at one point during that, I just felt this something inside me that said, it's time to leave there. So I left, but I didn't have a firm plan, a job set up for what came next. I knew that God would provide. And so I thought that God was inviting me to go into short-term missions and to, travel all over the world and rescuing people and all things like that. And so I jumped. So I knew God was inviting me to leave there and into something else, but I missed the step about listening. And so I researched every way, what should I do? Red Cross or different Christian organizations. And I kept coming up to dead ends. And during that time, I went to Mass at that point, and they were looking for people to help at the soup kitchen, and somebody to help while the youth minister had a baby, just to fill in for a few weeks. And I thought, well, I could do those while I'm waiting for the big thing. But it was at those two things, helping at the soup kitchen and then I became a youth minister because of that, which then led me into being a pastoral associate, which led me to where I am today. So at first I didn't listen. I tried to force my interpretation of what God's invitation was. And so so for me, God's invitation comes in small bite-sized pieces, which is very good. To help at a soup kitchen, to help for a few weeks. If at that point God had said to me, I want you to become a youth minister, I would have said, that sounds boring, let's do something more exciting. But he invited me to join him in this journey right where I was. Not to travel the world, not that some people aren't called to that, but we each have our own journey and we have to be listening consistently. The other thing God didn't do, because he knows me so well, he didn't give me a glimpse of what my life looked like today, because if he had, I would have run and hid under my covers because it would have seemed too much. But for each step of the journey, God equips us for what we need. Always asking us to trust him with the next step and promising never to leave us alone. So this week, take some time for yourself and listen with an open mind. Don't tell the Lord what the invitation should be, but just be quiet. Maybe you could pray in a different way, since we're sort of transitioning. If you don't normally journal, maybe you journal out your prayer. Maybe you take up a walking prayer, and you're just silent and waiting for God to invite you to this next step of your journey. Just wait for the insight. No matter what, just have an open heart. That's all that's required. Have a good week.